So now we are looking at the fringe benefit, which is the use of an asset. Very important here, guys, it is the use of an asset. So your employer says to you, here's an asset, you can use it, not here's an asset, you may keep it. That is a different fringe benefit. Assets acquired at less than actual value. This is just the right to use an asset. Now think about it, guys. If you have to maybe, sometimes there are things that you want to rent. So let's say, for example, you don't own a TV. You get places where you are able to rent a TV, or you don't own a DVD player and you have to rent a DVD player or something like that. Those are rentals, for example. I'm just trying to make it practical. Or you rent a boat for the weekend, or rent a car. Okay, a car I don't really want to use right now because this excludes motor vehicles and residential accommodation. But you get to use an asset. It's not ownership. So ownership of asset is not transferred. Just bear that in mind. I'm stressing this a lot. You might say, but duh. But I'm stressing it because of the fact that students so often mess that up. Now, there will be no value attached. This is the first one I want to see, and a lot of this applies to this fringe benefit in the following situations. First one is private use is incidental. Now, up to this point in time, maybe you have started thinking about it, maybe you haven't. But a lot of you are working currently for employers, and you might have been given a laptop which you are using. Now, if you're not paying for that laptop, you've been given the use of an asset, so there should potentially be a fringe benefit. This section here, the no values section, tells you that if private use is incidental, there's no fringe benefit. So what does that mean? If your employer gives you a laptop and says, listen, this is for your work, and every day you come into work and you use the laptop, and even if you go home and you just Google one or two things, then private use is incidental. Incidental means it's not the purpose what it's for. It's over and above that. So then there's no fringe benefit. So you need to be mainly using it for business purposes. If you just work a little bit in the evenings, you do your own stuff, that's fine. Okay. If it's an asset which is provided as an amenity at the employee's place of work for recreational purposes, and all employees may use it. So there's a pool table at work, and all employees can use it for free. Right, then there's no fringe benefit. There's a computer which everybody can use to browse the internet. Everybody in the factory can use it to browse the internet. There's no fringe benefit. Now, one of the reasons for this also, you might say, is practicality. If there's a pool table and everybody can use it whenever they want, how do you know and how do you determine how to do the fringe benefit? Okay. If it's an asset that the employee uses, allows all employees to use from time to time, and the value of private or domestic use is negligible. So my example I always use here is, let's say you work for, you're a plumber, and you work for a company that does plumbing services, and your drains at home are blocked, and the company says, it's fine, just take the things home and go and use it, it's fine. Right, just use the equipment quickly at home. And everybody can do that as a plumber there. Then there's no fringe benefit. If the asset is a telephone or computer, that is mainly, so more than 50% used for the employer's business, make sure here again, if you see, guys, this is if they give you the right to use it. Right. Or if the asset consists of books, literature, recordings, or work of art. Now, the tricky thing here, which sometimes happens in exams, just be on the lookout for it, is they'll say to you, the company gives you a painting, or the company gives the employee a painting, then people go, there's no value. But if they give you a painting, it means ownership is transferred. So then we're not looking at this fringe benefit. We're looking at the benefit which says if the previous fringe benefit, the paragraph 5.1, which says if assets are acquired at less than actual value. And there is no exclusion there for art. So this is only if they say, here's a painting, you may use it for a period of time. Okay, so be on the lookout for it. So if it's any other type of assets, or assets which are now subject to fringe benefit, how does it work? So the first thing is, if the employer has to lease the asset, then whatever the employer is paying. So for example, let's say, I'm just using this as an example, there's a shop, right? And the shop has TVs in it. Right, it has TVs in it, and the employer goes there and gets a TV, pays 500 rands per month, and he gives the TV to you to use, to the employee. Then 500 rands per month is the amount of the fringe benefit. If the employer owns the asset, so the employer goes and buys this TV for 20,000 rands, then the fringe benefit is the lower of the cost of market value. So every year as the asset gets used, obviously it's worth less, so the fringe benefit comes down. But it's calculated as 20,000 times 15% times the days over 365. So you had it for 91 days, let's say. If the employee has the sole right of use of the asset for its entire useful life, then the cost of the asset is included. Now this is a tricky one. This is basically where people were trying to hide a fringe benefit. This is to stop them from doing it. So if I say to you, this, because remember now, let me actually just take one step back to this previous one of the TV. Let me use my example here. The employer gives this TV to use for a period of time. He can take it back at any point in time. It's not saying it's yours. It's you can use it until I take it back. The next one is the employer says to you, listen, here is the TV. I'm giving it to you to use. But let's make an agreement that you are the only one that can ever use it until that TV basically explodes and blows up one day and stops working. So what is the employer actually doing? The employer is actually giving you the asset. Think about it. Because you're the only one that can ever use it. So the employer is actually giving it to you. That's why you then just use the cost of the asset. So whatever the asset costs, 20,000 rands, that would be the value then.